Hey everybody, this is Robert London from my garage workshop in Durham, North Carolina. Wanted to post a machinery review on my Supermax 25 by 2. It's the 5 horsepower dual drum sander. I've had this beast for a little over 6 months now, if not longer. It was a replacement to my old jet machine that I had for probably close to 20 years. Just a single drum that was kind of fallen apart, and was eyeing one of these machines and kind of looking at several different brands, and pretty glad that I decided to go with this Supermax system. A couple details about this machine here. The one big benefit that I was looking for is going with 2 drums versus 1. This machine does have a pretty wide footprint, so it does take up a lot of shop space. For some, that could be a deal breaker, but I had the extra room and just got tired of my old system with 1.5 to 2 horsepower and a single drum. The machine was constantly shutting off. You couldn't do heavier loads. So really happy that I decided to go with the dual drum system. The paper changes on this machine are pretty simple. I was looking at some other brands that have the hook and loop, or that system to where you have to put tape on the side, which I found pretty annoying. A lot of people said that it took way too long to change papers and you almost needed 2 people, but this simple clip system right here, you can literally change this paper in probably about 60 seconds or so. As you can see, this paper is kind of destroyed, and that is because I was running pine through that. One of my good buddies wanted me to build him a custom farmhouse table that I just completed. Unfortunately, pine is a bit of a nasty wood to put through a drum sander. It just gums up with all the resin. Poplar and maple, oak, sapele, just about anything else is kind of a dream to use on this machine. So be forewarned, if you have to put pine through it, you will destroy these expensive belts rather quickly. Lesson learned there. The one cool thing about a double drum sander is being able to have different grits on both the front and the rear. You can have the heavier grit on the front and the lighter on the back. I tend to not like that. I like to run them in tandem and run 60 front, 60 back and set it and forget it. I don't like fooling around with this adjustment, and I find that I'm just able to power off material in a much quicker fashion if I roll them in tandem. And with this clip system on the end here, it's so easy to change the papers. I'd rather run them in tandem rather than having one higher and lower. The IntelliSand is pretty cool. It enables the belt to slow down as necessary. So if you're taking off too heavy of a grit, it will slow it down quite a bit. This does stick out quite a bit here, which is a tad annoying. I wish it wasn't so long, but can't have everything, as they say. This machine does take up quite a bit of shop space. The one thing I personally really like is that you can kind of get really close to the machine and get your legs, if you don't have a partner in tandem to do front and rear in terms of in-feed, out-feed. I do like how you're able to get pretty close up to this machine. Although the steel legs, you need support for a 400+ pound machine, so pretty understandable. The one thing that I did have to upgrade is my dust collection. I got this new Grizzly canister system just this past week. I was slumming it with an old Penn State machine that I was using for probably close to 20 years. It had maybe 600 CFM on a good day with only 1.5 horsepower. But having a larger machine with 2+ horsepower that has over 1,500 CFM, I highly recommend getting a better dust collection system, because this thing just, it powers off material and just throws up a ton of dust. So make sure you upgrade your dust collection. The one thing that's a bit finicky about these drum sanders is the belts. Tracking can be a bit of an annoyance. I think I figured out how to keep it pretty straight. I read on the internet just through research that if your belt is drifting in one direction, you need to tighten in the direction that it's drifting, and then loosen the other side, and that kind of works as a pretty good trick. I've only had to adjust it maybe once a week. Sometimes every couple weeks it'll start to drift left or right, but with that tip that I found out, it seems to work pretty well. Once again, this is a 5 horsepower machine. It's 21 amp. You will need a 30 amp breaker on there, so I had to call an electrician just to make sure that I had a 30 amp circuit. I am super happy that I decided to go with a 5 horsepower machine. Some other brands out there had 3 horsepower machines. Kind of read some reviews about when you got 2 drums, a 3 horsepower machine. It's not bad, but for how expensive a dual drum sander is, if I'm going to spend $2,200, why not spend $26, or I think this one was $26.99 from Acme Tools. I don't regret one bit getting the larger machine with the bigger motor, because this it doesn't shut off like some of those cheaper machines, and able to power off the material in a much quicker way. I'm going to go ahead and turn the machine on here just to show you how it is in action. So pardon me here, I don't have a separate hand to hold this. All right, this is a piece of poplar that I ran through it. Overall, this thing is just so smooth and so powerful with the 2 drums on it and the 5 horsepower. And this new canister system really helps collect. I was having all types of problems with dust flying out of here, but a more industrial, heavier duty machine really helps keep the dust out of your shop and also out of your lungs. Overall, I got to give this machine a pretty high rating. It's not perfect, but on a scale of a 5-star rating, I'd probably have to give it 4, maybe 4.5 stars. Couple quirks. Once again, it's a pretty wide footprint, and it will take up a bit of shop space. But then again, if you want a 25-inch machine with tool drums on it, there's really nothing else out there in the marketplace that's going to save too much space on it. If you're a cabinet maker, need a more industrial quality machine, I have to give this a thumbs up. Even if you're more of a weekend warrior like me that just does projects for friends and kind of to have fun more than make a living on it, it's a pretty sizable investment at $2,500 plus bucks. But hopefully this will be one of the last drum sanders I'll have to buy. My last machine, the Jet that I had, kind of beat it up for almost 20 years, so hopefully this one will last just as long. If you have any questions or comments or anything else you'd like to share about the Supermax 25-inch double drum sander, feel free to leave a comment below, and have a great day.